In an absolutely stunning defeat, the Cleveland Cavaliers, who had led for much of the second half, fell apart in the closing seconds of Game 3 of the NBA Finals and ended up losing to the Golden State Warriors, 118,113. Golden State, after an 11-0 run at the end of the game, now has a commanding 3-0 lead in the series. In the final 3 minutes and 10 seconds of Game 3, the Cavaliers saw their chances of an upset in these finals essentially evaporate. The Warriors closed the game on a huge run that was all Stephen Curry and Kevin Durant, with Durant's 26-foot three-pointer with 35 seconds remaining putting the team on top to stay 114,113. The run seemed to come out of nowhere, with LeBron James and Kyrie Irving dominating for much of the second half, combining for 77 points in the game. The two-man dominance was simply not enough, even with a solid effort from Jr. Smith, thanks to the Warriors' stacked lineup. Klay Thompson, Durant and Curry combined for 87 points, with Durant leading the way with 31 and Curry improbably tying Kevin Love as the game's top rebounder with 13. With the win, the Warriors have now extended their postseason record to 15 consecutive games, and in Friday's Game 4 have a chance to be the first team to complete a postseason undefeated. Here's how the Warriors won. With the Cavaliers leading for much of the second half, it appeared Cleveland would finally win a game, but an improbable run in the final seconds of the game has the Golden State Warriors leading by 3 points with 1 possession remaining in Game 3 of the N.B.A. Finals. Kevin Durant got hot at the end of the game, hitting a huge three-pointer to give the Warriors the lead late in the game. The crowd in Cleveland was eerily quiet as they realized the Warriors were now likely to win a 15th consecutive postseason game. Klay Thompson got to 30 points and narrowed Cleveland's lead to 1 point with a three-pointer at the 4:40 mark in the fourth quarter. But a pair of free throws by LeBron James built the lead back to 3 points and got him to 39 for the game. Golden State has the ball following a foul on Kevin Durant and will come back from a short break trying to even the score with 3:43 remaining in the game. A needless loose ball foul on a rebounding attempt in which he was outnumbered 3-1 under the basket resulted in Draymond Green picking up his 5th foul of the game. Despite that and Kevin Durant and Stephen Curry opening up the fourth quarter on the bench, the Warriors actually kept pace over the first 4 minutes, keeping Cleveland's 5-point lead in place. For the Warriors to keep their 14-game postseason winning streak going, they will need Durant and Curry to get back into the game and for them to get back to the two-man wrecking crew that they were in Games 1 and 2. The Cavaliers were written off by plenty of people after falling behind 2-0 in the series, but the third quarter finally belonged to them as Cleveland outscored Golden State 33-22 and will enter the fourth quarter with a 94-89 lead. Cleveland has gotten 65 points from LeBron James and Kyrie Irving, and just 29 from the rest of the team, but Kevin Love chipped in with 8 rebounds and an astounding 6 steals. He has also drawn fouls in several instances by letting the smaller Warriors fight just a bit too hard while battling with him under the basket. Golden State was clearly frustrated on the court in the third, with shots missing and the ball not moving around nearly as much. They finished the third with just 4 assists after they had 21 in the first half. For Cleveland to hold on to the lead in the fourth quarter, they will need to keep Golden State frustrated offensively, while keeping James and Irving at maximum intensity for as much of the quarter as possible. The Kyrie Irving of last year's finals appears to have finally arrived for this year's series. The star guard now has 27 points and has repeatedly answered any scoring by Golden State with a series of circus layups that find friendly bounces through the rim. While Games 1 and 2 were mostly defined by LeBron James' best going against the best of Kevin Durant and Stephen Curry, Game 3 has had some variety with James and Irving combining for 54 points, while Klay Thompson and Curry have combined for 43. Cleveland has also gotten far more help from Jr. Smith, who has 12 points and is 4 of 5 from three-point range. Smith has picked up 3 fouls, which could be an issue. Third quarters have been difficult for Cleveland in this series, with Golden State racing off to huge leads, But things are off to a good start in Game 3 with the Cavaliers narrowing the Warriors' lead to 1 point thanks to a 7-2 run. Cleveland even got some help from Golden State when a monstrous dunk by Kevin Durant was waved off thanks to a moving screen by Zaza Pachulia. Draymond Green also drew his 4th foul of the game. Getting Green into foul trouble was a priority for the Cavaliers, and the star power forward may be forced to miss a large amount of the second half if coach Steve Kerr wants to ensure that he will be available for crunch time. There was not a lot of scoring in the second quarter, with Cleveland shrinking the Warriors' lead to 6 points at the half. Despite the downturn in points, there was plenty of action, with both teams aggressively going after the ball on defense, and bodies simply crushing into each other in what was almost assuredly an attempt by the Cavaliers to slow things down and take advantage of the smaller Warriors players. While the quarter included an extended argument between Stephen Curry and Iman Shumpert following a foul by the Cleveland guard, the biggest development for Cleveland was Draymond Green talking his way into a technical foul for arguing about his 3rd foul. Green has not necessarily been at his best in these finals, but he is Golden State's most important player on defense and one of their key playmakers on offense. He had been a model citizen in the finals before the technical, but the Cavaliers will have to hope they have ignited his combustible personality. For all of the physicality in the game, the Cavaliers were still been unable to disrupt the Warriors' ability to move the ball around rapidly on every possession. Golden State had 21 assists on their 23 field goals in the half, and they are nearly unbeatable in any game in which they top 30 assists as a team. LeBron James led all scorers in the half with 27 points, but Klay Thompson was right behind him with 21. Kyrie Irving had 17, including a last-second layup that improbably found the basket despite the star guard throwing it up over a swarm of Warriors defenders. The pace of the game may have slowed, but LeBron James continues to be able to do seemingly anything he wants against Golden State's formidable defense. The Cavaliers forward has 23 points on 10 of 11 shooting, while the rest of his team has combined for just 22 points. His teammates are shooting 5 of 18 from the field, and no other player has more than 6 points. The most stark stat in favor of James, however, may be plus-minus. The Cavaliers trail by 1 point, and James has only sat out 2 minutes, but he is a +9 so far. Kevin Love is a -8 and Kyrie Irving is a -5. The game was immediately more physical at the start of the second quarter, with a lot of contact on both ends of the court. The change in mood greatly benefited Cleveland, with a 7-0 run bringing them back to a tie score. The quarter's first minute included a pass by LeBron James that went through the basket for 2 points and a dunk by Kyle Korver, who dunked just once during the regular season. The game was briefly tied at 39, but after a 3-point play by David West, the Warriors are back up to a 4-point lead with 10 minutes left in the quarter. The Cavaliers were expected to try to slow things down at home after allowing 35 and 40 points in the first quarters of Games 1 and 2 on the road. Game 3 looks a lot like the first 2 games, however, with Cleveland trailing Golden State 39-32. LeBron James is once again doing a tremendous job offensively, with 15 points, but Golden State set an N.B.A. Finals record with 9 3-pointers in the quarter, and Cleveland may want to set their sights on slowing down Klay Thompson. When he is hot, Thompson can be an even more devastating shooter than Stephen Curry, and the shooting guard lived up to his position's name in the first quarter with 16 points on just 7 field goal attempts. Cold for most of the postseason, Thompson started to come alive in Game 2, and is now 4 for 5 from 3-point range in Game 3, while the Warriors as a group are 9 for 14. James will need more help in terms of scoring, but the larger problem may be Golden State continuing to win the battle for rebounds. They had 10 to Cleveland's 6 in the quarter despite Zaza Pachulia being sent to the bench after 5 minutes because of foul trouble. On a Klay Thompson 3-pointer that tied the game at 19-19, LeBron James collided with Tristan Thompson and stayed on the ground for an extended period. James was holding his head, and it appeared Thompson's right shoulder had collided with James' jaw, but after a commercial break he was back on the court. having been checked out on the bench briefly by medical personnel. On Cleveland's first possession after the break, James hit a shot in the lane over the outstretched arms of JaVale McGee, drawing a foul and proving that he is doing fine. At the game's first timeout, LeBron James and Kevin Durant seem determined to put on a show. James is up to 9 points and 2 assists, while Durant has 8 points on 2 three-pointers and an alley-oop he managed to complete despite initially coming up short. For the Cavaliers to keep their nice flow on offense, keeping Draymond Green out of the game as much as possible is key, and with the power forward already having picked up one personal foul, he will undoubtedly be less aggressive in the game's early going. That gives Cleveland an opportunity to push the ball inside to take advantage of his caution, or benefit from his inability to control himself. Game 3 tipped off at 9:11 p.m. Eastern, with Zaza Pachulia of the Warriors winning the opening tip over Tristan Thompson of the Cavaliers. Despite that, the Cavaliers were first on the board with a layup by Kyrie Irving, and after Pachulia was called for a traveling violation, Jr. Smith knocked down the three-pointer. It was Smith's first field goal since the opening points of Game 1. The Cavaliers have an early 13-9 lead with 8:30 remaining in the first quarter, but in a potentially bad omen for the Cavaliers, the Warriors are hot from three-point range with Kevin Durant hitting 2 and Klay Thompson hitting 1. Expected to be a matchup of two teams at full strength, the 2017 N.B.A. Finals have been all Warriors thus far, with Golden State taking an easy 2-0 lead. As the series shifts to Cleveland for Game 3, the Cavaliers have little margin for error if they are to get back into it. Here's what to expect in Game 3. Pace is the most important factor for Cleveland. The Warriors were the fourth fastest team in the N.B.A. this season, with an average of 102.5 possessions per 48 minutes according to N.B.A.com, while the Cavaliers were ranked 16th at 98.4. In Games 1 and 2, the Warriors turned on the Jets and forced a breakneck pace of 105.5 possessions per game, just over 10 more a game than the teams averaged in last year's finals. Even with LeBron James and others insisting that there is no need to slow things down, the fact remains that the Cavaliers have not been able to keep up when the Warriors so far, and pace seems like the thing they could best control. While James has been his typical dominant self, the thing the Cavaliers are missing most from their deficit-eliminating performance in Games 3 through 7 of last year's finals is Kyrie Irving nearly matching James in terms of production. Irving has averaged 21.5 points and 4.5 assists a game in Games 1 and 2, but as the Cavaliers went about erasing the Warriors' 2-0 advantage last season, he averaged 30.8 points a game and shot 50.8% from the field over 5 games. The star guard is reportedly working his way through a knee injury, which makes his production commendable, but Cleveland will need more from Irving or someone else, as James has yet to be able to single-handedly will the team back into games thus far. The Warriors keep saying they could play better, and considering that they have not played particularly well in the first half of either game, they're probably right. If they can avoid getting bogged down by a Cleveland team looking to make the games slower and more physical, and can see more production from Klay Thompson, who came out of his slump some in Game 2, there is opportunity for improvement. For all the talk of the Warriors' stars, the most shocking statistic of the series may be that the undersized Warriors are currently leading the rebounding battle, with 103 to Cleveland's 100. In the previous two finals between these teams, the Cavaliers got dominant rebounding on both ends of the court from Tristan Thompson. But he has been almost entirely neutralized by Golden State, with just 8 rebounds through 2 games to go with 8 points. Kevin Love and James have rebounded well, combining for 27 a game, but Draymond Green, Stephen Curry and Kevin Durant have won their fair share of battles for the ball, too. Each of them is averaging 8 or more rebounds a game.